Okay.
Okay, welcome to the first tree commission meeting of 2021. I'm going to go ahead and take attendance, and then I will step back and turn it over to the board. Jim Arthur?
Here.
Bree Homan is not here. Kippy Laughlin? John Parker? I see is joining us. Joe Viviano?
Here.
And then we've got Commissioner Waddington.
Yep.
And then as far as staff go, we have Aaron Klein, Scott Cromer, Nate Leimeister, and then I'm Elizabeth, and I'm here. So now I'll turn it over to the board. The first item on the agenda is to select your chairperson and vice chairperson for 2021.
I just brought the meeting to order. Selection of chairperson and vice chairperson. I would like to nominate Bree, who's not here. Which is a good way to do it. We can just tell them that she is the new chair. Does anybody have any objections, or anybody else want to put their name forth?
I second Bree.
And who said that?
That was Kippy.
That would be
Okay.
Kippy.
Kippy. All in favor?
Do we have a quorum?
We do. We have 5 members, so we have, sorry.
Joe, baby.
We do. We need a vote from Jim, John, Joe, Scott, and Aaron and Kippy.
Okay.
And sorry about that, Commissioner Waddington too is for the tree commission.
I'm not a voting member, though.
No, he's not voting.
I'm not a voting member. So I
Neither
can't-
is any of the staff.
Okay.
Somebody
Yes,
else-
yes, for tree commission, it is, staff is included as voting members and the commissioner. It's a little unique. We double checked with law before this meeting.
Oh, okay, so staff members are allowed to vote on all business that
Yeah,
comes
and
before us.
Commissioner Waddington. Yeah, it's a
I
little unique.
can't, no, I was
Okay.
out before you can't vote, so.
Okay.
We got enough that, yeah. I'll
Okay,
double check.
so I can go, do you want to go through the roll call, Jim?
To vote Bree into the chair?
Yeah.
Sure. What have we got here? Well, I put forth her name, so I'm one. Who do we have next? John?
Bree has just joined.
I'm here.
Oh, Bree's on now, good.
Should we wait or vote real quick and just tell her when she comes in?
her in?
She's the new chair.
Why don't you fill her in?
Okay. There's Mr. Klein. Aaron Klein? Where are you?
Yes,
That is one strange background. Is that your home?
that is actually down at Shoreline Park.
With that big anaconda in your background? Okay.
Does somebody want to fill in Bree on what you guys are talking about since she's joined?
Told you, yeah.
Sure. Well, she's not in here, she's,
No, she's in the meeting though. She's BH.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Bree, can you hear me? Jim Arthur here.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. So somebody here, me, just nominated you to be the new chairperson of this organization.
Yeah, that served. Is that what happens when you come in late?
That's exactly what happened. We were hoping to get all the voting done before you even showed up. You know how that goes. I don't know if you all know it or not, but Cindy has bowed out for personal reasons from continuing her stint with the group.
You know how to lower this down.
hence the necessity of coming up with a new chairperson.
My biggest concern is my level of responsibilities a few years ago are totally different than my level of responsibilities now. So I don't know that I can do extra from what I'm doing now.
Well, I don't know if it's extra, it's pretty much just running the meeting. To my knowledge, over the last couple of years, I haven't seen any extra responsibilities as far as the chair goes, other than maybe being a lead person in the Arbor Day festivities.
Are nominations still on the floor?
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm just saying, you look pretty good in that center seat that you're in right now. How about I nominate you?
Well, you're at liberty to do that, I guess.
Great article.
So nominations are still open. I just threw your name out to get things rolling,
Oh, okay.
and because you weren't here. So you were an easy target. Okay, so we have 2 nominations. Any more on the floor for a new chairperson? So now we'll vote. It's up to either Breanne Holman or Jim Arthur, myself. So let's start the roll calling here. Thank you.
Should we do the raise hand button or?
I guess we'll just bark it out. So the first one on my list is me, Jim Arthur.
You got my vote, Jim.
Yeah.
Go for it, Jim.
So that's 2. Next one's
I'll make it
Breanne.
3.
Pardon?
This is John. Jim, I'll make it 3.
Okay. Breanne? Oh, you lucked out. So I guess I'm the new chairperson. I feel important.
Congratulations.
And Bree, Elizabeth just informed us that staff members are now voting members of this group.
They always have been.
Not in the 12 years I've been involved.
The superintendent and the director.
Okay, so Aaron and Scott, along with us 4 or 5, are voting members. So Aaron being the director, does he get 2 votes? I guess not. All right, so,
You need to do vice chairperson, Jim.
we do? Bree, how do you feel about being the fill-in alternative vice chair?
I could probably do that.
Okay,
It gives me less anxiety.
okay. So Breanne is, I'm chair, I guess, and Breanne is vice chair. Any objections to that? Okay, it's a done deal. I'm chair from here on out. Breanne is the vice chair. Okay, first order of business taken care of. Next order of business is approval of minutes from the November 19th meeting of 2020. It all looked well and good to me. No additions or deletions. Elizabeth is doing her usual fine job with the details. So everybody have a chance to look those over? It's all
Yes.
good?
Yes, look fine for me.
Yeah,
Fine for
good. Okay. next order of business is the tree stats. Nate, do you have some updates on tree stats?
Yes, I do. So I've got the totals for 2020. We did 252 removals,
Now,
100.
slow down, wait a second. I gotta just make quick notes here. Okay,
All right, 130 stump removals, 233 limb ups, 42 complete trims, 87 young tree trainings, 12 where we removed deadwood only, and 353 inspections.
how did those inspections go? They all look good? I doubt it. I
No,
already
that's why
know we have to replace some, right?
Yeah, we did replace some. We had 92 tree plantings for 2020. And then what we've got left on our to-do list, we've got 48 trees scheduled to be removed, 42 to be trimmed, and we're down to 90 stumps left to grind.
Okay. Thank you kindly. Anybody have anything they want to add to that list? In the way of numbers or things that need being done?
Is there, so the to-do list that's your 2021 list so far?
Yeah, what we have on the tree inventory, the workforce, through the inspections that I've done through the year, we've got 48 trees scheduled to be removed, 42 to be trimmed, 90 stumps that we need to grind, and then there's more inspections that I haven't done yet. So it's a growing list. It's always being added.
Right.
Well,
Is
good.
there any planting plans for 2021 right now?
For 2021, we possibly could be doing a fall planting, but nothing probably in the spring.
Okay.
Through the chair, this is Aaron. Do you mind if I speak on that question a little bit?
No, go ahead, please.
One of the things that we're trying to do, as you guys are aware, we've had $75,000 a year out of the general fund to put towards tree removals, tree plantings, anything associated with the urban forest. We've also put $25,000 from the stormwater fund towards that same thing. Last year, we obviously got that large grant where we planted several hundred trees throughout the city properties. It had to be on public land, so we did those locations. So this year, with the fact that we have to still take time to water all of the trees from last year, and we are still, with the 2 staff members still catching up on the tree trimmings and those types of things. One of the things that we are looking very strongly at is we have a bucket truck within the forestry division that's in shambles and really unusable. So we're trying to weigh how we go about doing that, if we can take a portion or all of those dollars that we typically would set aside for new trees and tree removals, things like that, to buy that new forestry bucket truck, which runs about $200,000. So even if we did use 100% of those funds, we're trying to figure out within our capital plan where the remainder of those dollars would even come from. So when Nate's talking that we don't have a full plan laid out for the year, we're hoping to develop that within the next couple months to really get the best use for our money so the current staff that we have can move forward with the anticipated operations and the desired operations, but also to make sure that in coming years they can still continue to do those operations. I think, as you all are aware, the amount of work and efficiency that we get out of the 2 people that we have within the forestry division is astronomical. So getting the proper equipment for them to continue to do their work is essential for our staff. I'd love to hear any other ideas if you guys come up with things. We're still looking, hoping that the GLRI has forestry grants available. We did see one, but it didn't really work for us this year. And that being said, you know, I think there's an agenda item that Bree had forwarded on for later, for a discussion for later, that we can get into at that time regarding that urban and community forestry programs grant. So if anybody had any questions for anything that I said, I'd sure be here to answer.
A couple of clarification questions. It seemed to me not too awfully long ago, within the last couple of years, there were 2 bucket trucks available for forestry. One was definitely in disrepair. But are there or are there not 2 bucket trucks for forestry, regardless of their condition?
Can I defer to Scott on that one?
Yeah, we have 2 bucket trucks, Jim. The one we can go up in the boom and do our trimming and removal. The other one is strictly just one that we chip into. The frame on it has severely is rusted. We don't feel comfortable using the boom on it, so it's strictly just a chip truck right now. And I think that's what Aaron was mentioning, is we really have to weigh the options of moving forward on possibly replacing that truck altogether to where we can have a truck that we can go up in every day and do removals and trims, and also as a backup to the existing one. If the existing one does go down, we are in a position where we may have to use like an electrician bucket truck to get by.
Gotcha. Thanks for that update. And either one of you 2 guys who just spoke, aren't there 3 in forestry? Didn't you put somebody on last fall?
We have 2 full-time members. We had a seasonal employee last year that was in forestry that helped out Nate, that had a CDL that we could utilize for driving the trucks, but only 2 full-time members we have there right now.
So there's no seasonal right now?
No, not right now.
I didn't realize he was seasonal.
Yes, you probably saw him driving the bucket truck and that, but that's because he did have a CDL and we utilized him in that way, which helped out tremendously.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess like in response to my question, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing if there was a tree planting number. I think, you know, there's planting trees and then there's making sure you take care of the trees that are planted. So, I mean, my feeling is, you know, making sure you guys have the equipment that you guys need is just as valuable, if not more valuable, to take care of the tree stock that we have. So, I mean, I think that's a pretty good idea, making sure that if something were to happen, I mean, what if the truck goes down and then all of a sudden we get a massive storm, So I think that's a good idea. So please don't think I was thinking like, oh God, I just want trees planted. But I honestly, I've been on the tree commission for years now, and, hearing the report of, what we're doing in terms of the different styles of trimming, the removals, the plantings and stuff. I mean, you guys are doing such an amazing job. So, so I'm in full support of it going to equipment for a year. I think obviously it's not our decision, but, you know, again, I'm in full support. It sounds like a good idea.
Thank you. Anyone else want to comment on the need for a functional bucket truck sooner rather than later?
Mr. Chairman,
Sure, yes.
I like what Mr. Klein conveyed to us as far as the need for it, and if it is like that, I agree with Bree's comments to go forward and at least get a snapshot, maybe by the next meeting, if we can get this, if we're not going to be planting trees, it sounds like maybe in the fall. I like the idea of moving that money over to a valid need with an additional truck.
Excellent. So, moving forward, Aaron, Scott, you got the full support of 2 people on this commission. Nate, thank you for the update, very thorough. Glad to hear that. We keep on moving on. Elizabeth, good. Next item on the agenda is the Sloan House tree planting violation at 403 East Adams. Anything new there? I know we got a letter.
Yes, I'll speak to that. I did contact Chris and Elizabeth did at first, and I followed up with to find out where we were because we did not get a response. He did say that he sent a response back that it must not have come in the mail, and so that's understandable with our mail problems. But he's requesting that he could meet in person at the next meeting to explain some of his, or he has some questions with the letter that we sent out. He'd like to explain in person. So I guess I'm coming to you guys to see if that's a reasonable request from him. I told him I'll get back with him once we have the meeting today.
Personally, I like the idea of in-person back and forth meetings. Is he gonna bring his lawyer with him like the last person did?
He didn't mention that he would.
Is there a reason why he didn't come to this meeting? I mean, don't we always have a kind of a public section if somebody?
He's out
Yeah.
of state, Bree.
Oh,
I
okay.
failed to mention that. He's out of state. He'll be back here next week. He wanted to come. He just said that he's not going to be able to make it, and he's requesting that he can come at the next meeting and state his case.
So the next meeting at this point probably be in February. So if we give him enough advance notice, he should make plans to be here then, I'm guessing.
Now, wait, the next meeting won't be till March. We're doing every other month, aren't we?
Right again.
Yeah, we have to set the meeting, so yes.
So he'll have plenty of time to adjust his schedule accordingly. Okay, I'm in favor of him, Mr. 403 East Adams Street, coming to the March meeting to plead his case. Anyone else on board with that? Any
Fine
reasons?
with me.
Yeah, it's okay with me too.
Okay,
Me too.
okey dokey. Next item, wants to meet in person in March. I got that note down. Removal of crab apple at 1106 Holyrood. We decided the last meeting that we were gonna find that person $100. Has anything transpired there?
Yes, I reached out to the owner is Miss Cody. I reached out to her We also reached out to code compliance that had the original complaint of a trailer being parked in a boulevard. So I reached out to them to find out if we ever had a police report done on the tree being damaged or removed. Elizabeth also reached out to our records at the police department to find any past police reports on that location or that address. Nothing was found in any police reports of a car hitting it or any damage being done or anything like that. I did talk to the owner. She said that she has a tenant that she rents that house to. She talked to the tenant. She said that they were on vacation. When they came back, the tree was gone. They don't know who removed it or if it was damaged and got removed. From what she's telling me, that she doesn't get out there on a regular basis, and she was not aware that the tree was gone until she went out there to inspect the property for the code violation. So I don't feel like we could really, in my opinion, fine them for something that she didn't know took place or she was not aware of. And we don't have any police report stating that, that it was done or there was any person, cited for removing the tree.
So she's an out-of-town owner, I assume?
No, she's local.
Oh. Okay, it's an unusual circumstance, I guess. The right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing as far as they go. I can see forgiving the $100 fine. It's not really punitive, it's just a slap on the wrist anyway. So is that okay? Anybody have any alternative ideas on how to address that issue?
Well, I'm never a fan of a crabapple tree, so.
That's true.
I agree with you.
Done us a favor.
All
Going to
right.
be replaced?
I wouldn't recommend replacing it just for the fact that she didn't know, that tree was removed or taken down. And I think we have plenty of people on the list that are requesting trees that would probably be thankful if they get a tree in their boulevard.
Sure.
That's my opinion.
Well, that's
Hey, I've got a question. Is it removed with the stump still present?
Was it just sawed off?
I think it's just sawed off. The stump's not removed.
Okay.
well, that
I
complicates
just hope we
things a
don't
little
have like
bit.
a serial was it lumberjack somewhere in the city?
Are there a bunch of rocks around it that say unless?
I might go put them on there.
We can give them locations if they want to take others down. I don't think they don't have a problem with that.
The mystery tree, right?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
So that complicates things a little bit. This is kind of complicated to begin with. The tree isn't on city property, we think, right? Isn't it kind of sort of in between,
No, it's in the boulevard.
oh, it is in the boulevard.
It's a boulevard tree, yeah. What they were doing was they were parking a trailer in that boulevard. And I believe they got a complaint, and that's why code went out there to investigate.
Oh, so it was code that noticed the tree was gone too?
Yeah,
Is it possible that the tree was removed to make moving the trailer easier?
it's possible, but we don't have any any police reports, like someone saw them removing it and questioned it, and police responded, or they never called us to respond.
So is the owner of the trailer the tenant in that house?
Yeah, it was the tenant that owned the trailer that was parked in the boulevard.
And yet this person didn't know anything about the tree missing?
they said they were on vacation, and when they came back, it was gone.
So I guess my only concern is then, unless we catch somebody absolutely in the act, what's the difference with anybody just saying they have no idea what happened to their tree after they cut it down? Because I mean, I guess this is the first time somebody's given us that issue. Whereas other ones, I don't think we actually had firsthand evidence that that landowner cut the tree down, yet they were fined if the tree was gone.
Yeah, it could be similar circumstances, the 2 trees down on Second Street that just disappeared overnight with about an 8-inch stump still sticking up. And nobody seems to know how that happened or who happened it,
I mean,
whatever.
how does the code actually read in reference to the trees?
Well, no private citizen is allowed to pretty much touch city property. Trim shrubs or anything. Remove trees.
They have to request the application if they want to trim or remove a tree from us. And then we approve the application if they have a licensed contractor that is going to remove or trim the tree. Obviously this one wasn't requested. I mean, I'm not saying that you can't find them. I mean, that's your choice, but I guess if they would push the issue or come back, I mean, I don't know how you're gonna say it was them that did it. If we don't have any report on it or any date or any time or a witness to them or the tree being removed.
So I guess, all right, so potentially, basically, it's like the tenant maybe cut the tree down, but the landowner's being fined? Is that what it is?
That's what it would
Probably.
be. Yeah.
I guess my question is, how would something else that a tenant could do that would the landowner be held liable for?
Anything on the property, I guess. But then I'm no lawyer.
Yeah, through the chairman, I would say, this is Aaron, I would say that that's probably a question that we'd have to defer to the law department to get an answer, and we can certainly do that if you'd like.
Well, for over $100 fine, which is easily rescinded, I think we spent too much time on this issue already this meeting, let alone get the law department involved.
I don't know. I mean, my feeling is, and I've always said this all along, I mean, whatever we do, we have to be consistent about it.
Right?
And my only concern is, you know, really, what does code actually say? How is it supposed to be addressed? And if we start just saying, waiving things, then who's to say every last person who gets a letter says, well, I had no idea what happened to that tree?
You're making legitimate points. It's a matter of
I
setting
guess
the
I'm
precedent.
worried about opening up a loophole is all, so.
Right.
Well, what happened to the property owners with the Second Street situation?
Police report was filed, and that's all. And these were newly planted trees, so it didn't take much to get rid of them. Somebody in the neighborhood didn't like them. Police were called, report was made on those 2 trees. But they were just little trees, planted last spring or fall.
So a report was made by the property owner claiming that somebody cut down the trees.
City, not the property owner.
Okay.
The city filed the infraction.
You see what I'm saying? If the property owner filed a report, then that kind of gives them, you know, a reason not to be fined, because they're like, hey, something happened. I filed a report. This lady seems like she didn't file a report. She's like, I don't know what happened, you know? So I don't know. But I agree that, you know, if it is an ordinance and you don't find them, then other people could do the same thing and get away with it. You know?
Personally, I would like to hear what legal says about it, because
Well, I'm not against that either. We could visit the law department or invite a lawyer to the next meeting too. Okay, so what do you want to do with this? Table it for now until we make a definitive determination on how to handle it? Consult with the law department?
I'd like to formally request some type of guidance from the law department if it's not too much, and then discuss it at the next meeting.
Super.
You know, because I mean, based on what they think, I mean, maybe this is an opportunity to review, you know, the ordinance and make recommendations if, you know, if they're not right.
Sure. So who of us is going to get in touch with the legal department and put this in front of them and get their advice? I'll do it.
I'm
So,
liking you as president already.
yeah, so we are
Taking charge.
in effect tabling this until we talk to the law department, legal department, and explain the situation. Okay, you all good with that?
Yes.
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 Okay, next item on old business is Breeze Commission presentation. Are we gonna make one or not? That generated a little bit of discussion last time. And I don't know that we came to any kind of conclusion. Mr. Waddington was suggesting that these meetings and commission meetings are televised anyway, on video. There's a file. And it'd basically pretty much be reciting what Nate just told us. So we're gonna do I was in favor of doing a formal 10-minute presentation. Just so they all know that we're here and still alive and active.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
why don't we, or you could contact Commission Clerk and then have follow-up with Mr. Brady, Mayor Brady. I talked to him about it, and he said it's a great idea, but with this COVID, you know, maybe we could do this virtually and have her do a 10-minute presentation that way. Then we have a record of it for the year. Because we don't know where this is going to end up. Is it going to be May, you know, the middle of next summer? When we meet in person again, so.
okay, so what I'm hearing is we should get in touch with Mackenzie, get us scheduled for a short 10-minute virtual presentation to the city commission. Seems pretty efficient to me.
You know, I know that the presentation that we've done was kind of, you know, for the commission, or, you know, the city commission, and then also just kind of like informative to the public. But maybe this is also worthwhile to work with the Register to just kind of do like a tree update type article,
Absolutely.
you know,
So the press needs to be involved.
instead of the 10-minute commission meeting. Or, excuse me, not meeting, presentation.
I'm in favor of that. Let me see, what rhymes with tree that Andy Oriole could make a pun out of?
Bree.
Bree, rhymes with tree.
How about
Okay.
I'll be the one who calls Andy and tries to set up, you know, doing an article.
All right, so I got two tasks already. Get in touch with Mackenzie regarding a tree commission presentation and get in touch with the law department. Okay, moving on along to new business. Arbor Day celebration and proclamation. I believe, Mr. Whirling, that's you.
Bree and I talked a little bit about, and I think she has something she wants to talk about too regarding this, but with the current situation and trying to have events, I know we canceled last year's Arbor Day celebration. I don't know if there's thoughts of trying to do something just a lot more socially distant this year, or kind of bringing it up to you guys. Everything we would have to do would have to be running through the health department first. But there's also I think a poster contest, Bree, is that what you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, so every year, the National Association of Conservation Districts picks a different theme and then hosts a poster contest based on whatever that theme is. This year, the theme is all about forestry. And, you know, that can be urban or kind of like the traditional forestry sense. And it's pretty much open. Oh God, I'm sorry. I cannot remember what grades it is. I want to say it's 4th through 6th. And essentially, if any kids participate in this poster contest, it then goes to the state and then goes to the national, and then they have a chance to win up to $200. So I know last year we kind of talked about making a switch from doing the poems to doing a poster, but then kind of everything got thrown out the window. So if you guys are still thinking about doing a poster contest, this might be a good way to kind of partner, since the theme's already picked, the rules are already done. We would just help to advertise it and, you know, get kids to participate.
I wouldn't be against poems again this year if we could get Amanda Gorman here to read a poem that she wrote.
Well, and a poetry contest could be a little tough with current situation and the judging that we would always do. So I think unless we had a digital way to get the poems formatted and sent to us, there's also no event to read them at if we don't have a Arbor Day event.
Where would we post these posters? That all the 4th, 5th, and 6th graders are gonna do. There have to be on public display someplace.
Is the greenhouse closed to the public?
Best of my knowledge, yes, it currently is.
So when we've done the NACD poster contest, most posters were usually they're just regular paper size or 11 by 17s. So if there's no major events going on, would it be possible to kind of post them on the Myland, is it called Mylander Plaza, the building on Jackson Street Pier?
Mylander Pavilion.
Pavilion, I'm sorry.
Those are the ones I was.
Remember the kid that saved
The plaza's the fountain, right? I get them confused.
Doing Arbor Day right now.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
But maybe we could post them along there, since that's like a high traffic, you know, walking route.
That's an excellent idea. There's a lot of foot traffic down there already anyway.
Might not be bad.
Would
Even
really
during the
depend
wind.
on when, because we do have some reservations set for the pavilion, so it would depend on when. And I don't know about taping things to all the windows there. That could get, but it's up for a possibility.
Or you could do like you did with the COVID display and ask Vita to set it up in their place. That gets a lot of traffic and it's right next to City Hall.
Ooh, that's a really good idea.
Yeah, Vita,
What was that? I missed
the
that.
Vita bill.
The little restaurant bodega style place that's next to City Hall.
That's an upscale bodega.
Yeah. Pretty much, but yeah, they did the COVID artwork there, and you know a lot of people came in and saw it. And it was well received, and the social distancing was practiced, and it was a good place to see the kids' art.
You're talking next door at Vita?
Correct.
Yeah,
They got plenty of wall space, that's
yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
I like it.
I could approach Patty and Larry if needed.
So what about judging? Who's gonna judge?
So when we've run the district, you know, like when we've just kind of sent it out, we just use staff in the district to do a pick, and then we pulled in a few people from our building, just at random, that could just come down for an hour and pick their favorites. So, I mean, really, it can be anyone. I mean, it doesn't have to be like a ceremony or anything like that.
Right. We could
I mean,
even,
Jason, if this was like allowable, like the way that we've done it is we took one of the meeting rooms in our building. We narrowed down, I think down to, usually we only get like, I don't know, maybe around 100 or so posters. We narrow it down to like the top, I think like 25 or so, just by inner office staff. Then we set all those ones out. And then we have people outside of our staff that then pick their favorites. And then we just kind of say they're going to be here for a certain hour period. Usually we try to do it during people's lunch hour. And people just come down, they just grab a card. We have them all numbered. They just pick what their favorite numbers are, and that's kind of how we've done it.
So are we looking to display all 100 or so entries, or are we looking to just display the winners at Vita?
We have, well, again, we've only displayed the winners, but we've never had, we usually display, I think, like our top 10. And then we then call out in the top 10 what our, what our first, second, and third place was. But I mean, there's no rules. I mean, in the end, we're only allowed to send a few on. I think we're allowed to send maybe one per grade, or I'll have to go back and check the rules. And I'm not the one who ever ran the poster contest from our office. I was just a voter. But I think that there's a limited number then that each individual district can then submit on, so that they can keep going to try to win nationals.
okay, so what I'm hearing is that we are moving forward with a poster contest for Arbor Day.
Hi.
And that will involve 4th, 5th, and 6th graders, all local here in Sandusky.
Can I have?
And however we determine how it's going to happen, some winners will be advancing to a state level runoff where that person can win $200.
No, winning is national.
Winning
The
is
$200
national.
if they make it to national.
$200 doesn't come from the state. That's national.
No. Right.
Oh,
We could offer some prize locally though to get more people involved. I mean,
Right.
I could, find something,
Thank
find a prize for these kids.
all right.
The other nice thing about it's called Stewardship Week, is what the National Association of Conservation Districts do. And Stewardship Week always falls around the same time as Arbor Day, so that's why this lines up so well. They also release like little booklets of information and things. I think you guys have actually used some of these in previous events. I feel like a few years ago, when we've done a couple events at the greenhouse, I brought a bunch of resources from the district office, and they came from Stewardship Week. So I'll check to see what kind of like educational handouts and stuff they have for this year, and I can kind of get back to you guys on that.
Okay.
They're like little coloring booklets. They usually come in 4 different levels. So there'll be like a kindergarten, first grade, then there'll be like a second through third, and then a fourth through sixth, and then like a junior high grade.
Yeah, I remember that.
I don't, they're nice, but I wouldn't use those as just a prize. Maybe everyone who enters, if they turn in a poster, they could get that resource.
Right. So we've come up with what I think is a good general plan here. We can add some more details to it as we move forward. Important thing is, we are going to have an Arbor Day celebration, social distancing, all the usual state level whatever you call it, rules and regulations. Are we going to plant a tree? Scott,
Well, I
and
don't
Nick,
know.
what do you think about maybe just a couple of people and taking some pictures to display with these posters, maybe something, without a large gathering? Just to show that, again, we're still alive and doing things and taking care of the city. Could we plant a tree?
Tell me if he's muted, Jim.
Yeah, Scott, you're muted.
Sorry,
There you go.
I'm back.
There you
I'm
go.
back, babe.
Did you hear me? Can we plant a tree? Arbor Day? Maybe just a couple of us. Representatives from this group, representatives from forestry, maybe a dignitary or two, that'd be it.
Did you have a location in mind?
Well, yeah, down by the greenhouse, there's still a couple of spots.
Hey, Hollywood Road needs one, I think.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, that was fun.
We could Facebook Live any tree planting too, if we wanted to do that.
Do what was that, Jason?
Facebook Live to like the city site.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Sure, right. Facebook for tree planting.
We can look into it, Jim.
Okay. Terrific. Next item is urban and community forestry, UCF.
Oh, hey, Jim,
Oh, yep, sorry.
I'm sorry, one more comment just about Arbor Day that I
Yep.
forgot to make. Our district also is part of Neopipe, which is like more of a stormwater group in Northeast Ohio. And they wrote a grant and everybody's getting a bunch of trees to pass out. So I may also be getting some bare root trees that we can pass out as part of Arbor Day as well. So
Yeah,
keep you
that'd
guys
be great
posted
if
on what all
everybody
that
who, if everybody who made a poster gets one, that'd be terrific. A trophy for participation.
We should put a note on them that says you can't plant them in the right way.
yeah.
Right.
I'll be honest, I gotta find out what all trees we're supposed to be getting too, though. And honestly, I mean, I love the fact of just handing somebody a tree, but I think when we hand it to them, we want to make sure it's somebody who wants to actually put it in the ground in the right spot. So,
Correct. Okay, I skipped over one. 2021 Downtown Master Plan Tree List. Aaron, do you have anything to add other than the email you sent out with the catalog of suggestions?
Yeah, through the chairman, I just wanted to give some clarification on this. Basically, this list is going to be included in a plan or a list similar to this. We're looking for basically the tree commission to sign off on this list or to make recommendations. What I would say though is I don't want to get too far into the weeds at this point. I think once we get into the projects, once we get into design and we start picking specific trees is when we would look for the tree commission, because every single property is going to be very different when we do plant trees in an area like downtown. We're going to have to be very specific based on the frontage of the building, how much room is available, and different things like that. So I don't necessarily want to get into the specifics of soils and that type of stuff, but I think that's something that we would do in creating a spec for plantings at the time of bid. I would love to get somebody on the tree commission involved with that at a future date. I don't know if now's the time, but maybe this spring or even in the summer, we can get somebody involved to help start creating those technical specs for planting and watering and long-term maintenance type of a thing. So right now, we're just looking for the list of trees and your recommendations and thoughts on that list of trees. And I would like to ad-lib a little bit and say that I love hearing that you guys don't like crab apples, because I hate seeing those things destroy the sidewalks downtown.
I was glad they weren't on the list.
Well, they have their place, which is like in an arboretum someplace, but not on pedestrian walkways, for sure not. Anything with any tree with the name berry in it does not belong on a pedestrian walkway. So I'm with you on that. I'm with Bree on that berry thing. Okay, so this list right now has been compiled pretty much so we can just get a feel for it. I understand what you're saying about details that come down the road. Okay, next item, second to last item. Oh, go ahead.
Well, Aaron, I got a quick question. Aaron, do you want any just gut reactions to the list right now, or do you just want stuff later?
I think as quickly as you guys can give me things, I think the formal comments, something written would be better. That way it can be forwarded to the folks that are creating the plan, and they can document everything properly. I believe it went to Planning Commission yesterday, maybe, or the day before. I think it was yesterday. So they are looking for those comments from the Tree Commission, because that's very important to them.
Okay, and my only other question was, this is a list of trees that can be in lots of different types of like spaces. So we're talking about downtown parks, the sidewalks, the tree boxes, the medians, anything like that, right? Not just right along like the like kind of like, I guess, the more commercial area, correct? Or is this supposed to be focused on the commercial area?
Through the chairman to Bree, the name of the list is the recommended street tree list. So I believe this is just for those tree lawn, the trees along those areas. I think if we get into a park or private property, you have a lot more flexibility. So I don't think they would necessarily want it to be limited. So they're really just looking at those streetscape type landscape features as part of this plan. And I guess to that point, this list, again, is for the downtown street trees for that streetscape. And I really would like, and I know others within the city would like to start looking at creating a similar list for street trees outside of downtown, for trees that we want to see in larger properties. Obviously, we're not going to put an oak in somewhere that's got a 2-foot tree lawn. Hopefully we don't put anything there, but we're not going to put an oak there. And if we want to see that type of a tree, then on some sort of list somewhere, we need to say, this is going in parks. Here's what we want to see for bigger properties. Here's what we want to see on the outskirts downtown, and here's what we want to see in downtown. And what they're focusing on in this plan is just those street trees in downtown.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks for the clarification. Okay, urban and community forestry program grants. I'm at a loss. with that title. Are there urban and community forestry program grants available?
There are. So I get updates on all the USDA programs, and this was it came from a USDA program guidance document that was just released a few months ago. And as I was scanning through it, I saw something that looked like it could be useful to the city. So I just forwarded it on to the rest of you guys. I don't really know what time of year it actually comes out, but if there's any interest at all, I can find out who the point person is and get whoever needs to be in contacted with that person. So it's just, I know we've used GLRI quite a bit. This just looked like another avenue of potential funding. And it seemed relatively broad. It looked like it wasn't just kind of a tree planting grant, but it was a little bit more of like a tree management grant. So
we could buy a bucket truck with this grant?
I'm not sure, but but maybe. I mean, like I said, I mean, I just kind of looked at just some really initial details of it, and it just kind of looked like it was worth actually finding out more about it. So I just wanted to make sure I forwarded it to you guys and just wanted to see what you guys thought.
Heck yeah, anytime we can get free money, I'm all for that. So if you would, please, pursue that. Get a little bit more detail if you would.
Through the commission chair, if you don't mind, I'd love to be involved in a conversation with Bree and that person so we can kind of understand. I'm assuming that if we do go forward with the grant application, my staff would be the one that would be putting that together. So I'd love to hear what it is, and then maybe Bree or somebody can provide that feedback that you're looking for to support it, or say it's not worth going after.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I wanted. I just wanted to be able to connect whoever the grant coordinator is locally for this grant. I just wanted to connect it with whoever needed to from the city of Sandusky. And honestly, that's the only role I really wanted to have at this point. So.
Absolutely, go for it. Last item on the agenda is the schedule for these tree commission meetings. So we're skipping February, which gives us
Looking at March 25th?
well, you're ahead of me. I'm still scrolling. Sure.
Hey, Jim.
Yeah.
This is Scott. Hey, I'd just like to request, Thursday, I have commitments on Thursdays. Is there any way to possibly move the meetings to Tuesdays? I know
It
that
doesn't bother me. I think the reason for a while, we were trying to accommodate Cindy, so that's not an issue anymore. So you're looking at you're asking if we could move it in March to the 23rd?
Yes.
I don't have an issue with that.
How about moving it to Tuesdays from here on out instead of Thursdays? Because when the weather starts getting warmer, we do a community bike ride on Thursdays too that might conflict.
Tuesdays, keep on Tuesday.
Yeah, I'll start missing Thursday meetings because of bike rides too. Thanks for bringing that up, Kim.
Hey, just thought I'd throw it out there.
Okay.
So barring any objections, we're looking at the next meeting will be March 23rd, a Tuesday, and going forward, it's going to be on every Tuesday.
Yep.
Until further notice?
So the fourth Tuesday?
Okay.
23rd.
Fourth Tuesday each month, and then.
Well,
You don't have any
1,
other-
2, 3, 4. Yep, fourth Tuesday every month.
Every other month.
Every other month. Well, that's just peachy. Any other additions, side comments? You want to bring forth anything on the agenda that's not there?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
how about if we send a thank you card to Cynthia Ball, for all her,
Oh, sure.
I think we ought to do that. And then special thanks, I'd like to thank John Parker for his reappointment. And then congratulate our new tree commissioner, Kippy Laughlin. We appreciate it. Takes time. I think you'll be a good fit for us. And then one other thing for clarification, what are we going to do as far as who's going to be working on the April, this Arbor Day? Because if we come back in March, that whittles us down to about 3 weeks to throw something together for the posters. Is that something that Mr. Whirling's going to work with you on?
Sure.
Yes.
Because if we don't meet for 2 months, then we're squeezed going into April.
So that'd be Jason and I for Arbor Day.
I like that poster idea. I think that'd be good.
What time is that?
I'll have to check again.
All right, thank you. What did John Parker get? What did you do that's worthy of note?
He's reappointed.
Me? I re-upped.
He's real.
To this group?
Yeah.
Nobody asked me. I
Thanks
thought
for
Cindy
sticking
and
with
I
us.
were pretty close to the same location.
The tough
Okay.
call.
Oh, gosh.
Kippy new, so he's new.
Yep,
Cynthia gets a thank you for her service over the last 12 years or so.
yeah.
John Parker, re-up, okay. My. Busy meeting. And stuck to the agenda too.
Can I take us off live? Are we done?
I believe we are.
All right. They're still live.
Joe, second off.
Okay.